Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys are joining in, and welcome to another episode of Watercolor Instructions with me. So I'm going to continue with another cityscapes today. This one is in Seville. Most of the places I pick usually are the places I've been. I know the layout, just a feel for it, and then I use Google Earth as a photo reference. And also help me out if you haven't subscribed or and like the video if you do so. So usually I start with a value sketch. Gives you an idea where the shadows goes, and then also in your mind helps you to figure out where the perspectives and other bits and bobs which you wouldn't think if you just start a painting. So over here I see there is I'm going to put the main tower maybe slightly in that corner because the building on the side is still under construction. So I'm going to just try to offset it. Maybe slightly lower. So in terms of materials, while I'm talking, this is a Saunders 300 grams paper. I've stretched a quarter sheet, and then also I got a John Pike palette. I'm going to put in the last couple of slides what the palettes I use and what the brush I use in the end. So watch the videos and then you will know in the end, or else you can scroll and then find out what colors and other things I use in the end. So probably somewhere over there, and that's where the perspective, and there's also another street. And okay, but for the work I'm doing, it's more than enough details. Okay, so something over like that, and then there's plenty of trees. There's a couple of trees, and the people are about that eye level, and also there's tram tracks. So there are 4 or 5 people standing here, and then also I'm going to add a lot more people. Okay, and not to forget the shadows are the direction, and the building, even though it comes all the way till here in the actual photo, I'm going to cut the shadows maybe here, that way. Just gives me a little more shadow to play with the people. Okay, so that's what the plan is. Very simple in terms of details. There's a bunch of buildings. I'm going to just add that particular building in highlight because it's prominent and it's very close. And then there is a sliver of red building. The lamp is kind of good design element. So that's the first lamp. And then also, not to forget, there is a big lamp over here. 3 lamps. And in that direction, there's 1, 2. I'm probably going to add a couple more details. There's antennas. What else? In details, I'm going to do is maybe a couple of flower pots. Okay, so so they will probably allow another person in the front, so plenty of people walking around in that particular building, and that should should be a straightforward watercolor painting, but you would never know till you do it. So this one is in construction, so probably I'm going to do little details on the side. Okay, so obviously a little bit of the sky. It's a hot summer day. Okay, and that's a different tone. Not to forget the shadows. Oh, to be honest, a little brighter shadows. And people and their shadows. And the building, probably something like that. Shadow on one side. And a lot more darker on that particular building. Not to forget shadow on everybody. And the lamp. So not to forget the lamp, all the places. So that is roughly what I plan to do. So okay. And also I'm going to add a couple of train tracks, tram tracks. Okay, so this is a plan, and let's crack on with it. So obviously the main subject is that particular building. So I'm going to start with the top. So it's like a layered cake. One more layer. So it's got rings, it's got a window, and then a bunch of details which I will swing it, and then there is a bigger section. And same length. a little balcony, and the ground floor. So it's got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and roughly about that height is where all the people. So I'll add more people, and then let's carry on. I'll add a little more detail on this building. So it goes that way, and there's a path, goes that's about the details I want to add to that building, and I'm gonna converge. Another one starts over here, converges over here, so this one starts here, converges somewhere here, and this one goes there. Okay, and there's a little bit of construction going on, and that's where it ends. Okay. Okay, so there is another building which is sticking out. I'm just paying attention to the top portion. And then there is another building going over here. And there's another building going over here. And that's about it. And then okay, so that's the tree taken care of. And then also there's another tree with a pot, or a big pot. And I'm going to add more people. And what do we get? So I think that's plenty of people. Maybe a dog. Okay, so that's a train track. I'm going to just do the building. I'm going to cut the shadow there. There's a shadow on the other side. And the lamppost is somewhere in the front over here. So and it comes till here. And I will free wing it once I get that. And in that perspective, there is one somewhere here. Okay, and there's another here. So roughly about the same height. All the way till there. Okay, so 3, 3, then a little bit of track and some perspective lines to give some idea. All right, let's crack on with it. So a little bit of cerulean blue. It's a bit dark, but that's okay. I'm going to just water it down and then slowly let it trickle down. I'm going to just switch to a slightly smaller brush. Okay, so okay, and just suck up excess water. And that's the sky done. Okay, I'm going to continue the gray first. I'll just wet the paper a little bit so that it's easy for me to control. So slowly I'm getting it to cover. Well, that is still slightly wet. I'm going to add a little yellow ochre to blend into the crowd. Let it slowly get in. And a little more yellow ochre. So and a little more darker on these two walls. Okay, so there's still a little bit of moisture left, so I'm just going to continue working through. and complete. Okay, so that's the first coat complete. While it's slightly wet, I'm going to just do a little bit of the trees. Okay, so that's the major part complete. And now I will start cracking on with whatever is dry first. So the first thing I see, which is slightly dry, is the blue pattern. On top of the dome. Okay. So okay, and it's got a flowery pattern, comes all the way till there. So I can see that same color goes here. There's a lot more smaller detail. Just enough details to know is an interest, but not enough to take. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just switch between a slightly different brush just to add more details or less details. Okay, that one is still a little wet. So that one needs to be a little dark. I'm going to make it a little dark while it is still wet. Okay. Okay. Okay, that side, I will let it settle down, and I continue adding more details. To the door inside. And I continue building. Oh, that particular building. Okay. So that one is dry. I'm going to start adding a few more details just to okay. And slowly building the painting. Okay, so that is enough details, but I need to start adding a little bit of shadow. Okay, and also on this one, I'm going to do okay. So that side is done. So I'm gonna slowly add a little more. That one is a bit too dark. I'm gonna lighten it. That one is still a little dark. I'm gonna clean my brush. Again, the key is not to panic. As long as it's still wet, you can control the intensity of the tone. So I'm happy with that tone. I'm gonna just go and be a little mindful where the people come in. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little dark over here. Okay, and not to mention there was a building over here which we missed completely. So we didn't add any details to that place, which I'm gonna try to squeeze it now. Okay, so okay, so I'll let it dry a little bit, and then we can continue with that one. So shadow, a little more darker. And not to forget the small details. Which go into that. So there was another tree here. And we need to try to add a few more trees. Okay, so while that one is dry, this area is dry now, so it just needs a shade of gray. That one is fine, so I'm going to come in. Okay, so that okay, so that one is what I want to do, and then now let's add, while it's getting dry, let's add some details to the human or the cityscape. So okay, so we'll try to tackle the big ones. Okay, so I'm going to come in, make it a little more darker. Just with a slightly smaller brush for the details. Okay. Okay, and not to forget the shadow. a shadow for everything. Okay, so I'm just adding a little more random shadows. And I'm trying to build a story. With each person. So I think the body is a bit more important than the legs. The legs, especially a dry stroke brush, gives a sense of walking or action. So I'm slowly building people. Okay, so this one is a little dry, so I'm gonna add a little more detail. Okay, and shadow, make sure we don't miss shadow. Okay, now we are coming close to adding details to the pillars and other things. So that's how the body looks. Let's see. Okay, same thing on the other side. Okay, so slowly building. Okay, so we're almost. Just gonna add a few more highlights. I'll mention antennas, random things. Oh, we haven't added details to this particular building as well. Okay, that's just enough details. Okay. And I'm going to add a little more scaffolding details over here so that it looks like it's a construction. Okay. Okay, so that concludes another cityscape painting. Thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time. Keep watercoloring. Thank you. Bye.